Hi, this is Laura and Hannah, my border collie. Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be having a bit of a non-traditional discussion about retirement. What am I talking about? Well, today we're going to talk about our social retirement, preparing for what our social life will look like after the phone stops ringing and there aren't a million things to do and dozens of people that need you to help them do something. Well, this is Smart Women, Smart Conversation, a place where we take a few minutes a couple times a week and talk about the issues that we're dealing with as we get a little bit older and wiser. Well, retirement isn't something that I'm enjoying talking about. I've shared that I'm kind of semi-retired. I'm probably closer to real retirement, but that's just a scary word to me. I always thought it would be so cool to be retired and have all that free time. And now I'm a little bit panicked. I liked my schedule. I liked being super busy. So I have a friend who is, 10 years older than me, one of the wisest women that I know. And she told me several years ago, she looked at me across the table and said, "You need to start planning for your retirement." Okay, I kind of looked at her a little perplexed and she noticed and she said, "No, no, 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 no. I'm not talking about your finances or downsizing, selling your home. I'm talking about your social life. Have you ever asked yourself what you want your social life to look like after retirement? Do you see yourself spending a lot of time traveling? Do you want to reconnect with old friends? Do you want to pick up a sport, a craft, a hobby that you enjoyed when you were younger?" Well, honestly, no one had ever said that to me before, and what a great point. What she suggested, and I followed her suggestion, was to start a journal where all I had to do was list places, memories, people, organizations from my decades of being out in the workforce. And even back as far as high school and college, if you're like me, I no longer even live in the part of the country anymore where I went to college and high school. So what happened to those people that I used to know? Who do I remember that I lost contact with? Acquaintances, old schoolmates, old neighbors. So I started making a list and I went down the rabbit hole, quite honestly, because I just remembered so many neat things. Being a member of the Rotary Club, being a member of some women's organizations along the way, young professional organizations, some of my professional organizations that had to do with my industry, people that I had completely forgotten about as time had passed and I moved away or changed careers. Many of you have been in a career for decades and you've made professional acquaintances, colleagues, mentors along the way. Some who you may be sorry that you haven't talked to in a very long time. So one of the things I did, kind of this list building, jogged my memory that I should go join LinkedIn, which I really had never done. So about a year and a half ago, I joined LinkedIn and I started looking up people that I worked with in the hospitality industry back in the 80s and 90s. And it was amazing to see how some of the people I started in the industry with had gone on to have great success. A couple of people live fairly close to me, not even 45 minutes away in one of the larger metropolitan areas. But it was an opportunity to reflect on my life and not on what I missed out on, but things that I gave up. I used to be an avid cross stitcher. I cross stitched every single day, but life got too busy. I had kids, I had other responsibilities. I put down my needle and thread and I never picked it up again. But I had a group that I stitched with and we would get together for coffee and dessert and I have such fond memories. And why couldn't I reconnect with that hobby? I truly miss it. Or maybe it's something new. Maybe it's something you always wished you had the time to do, but you just never did, or you were never living in the right place to make it happen. So making these lists will help prioritize, will help spur your memories and your imagination. A lot of us belong to professional organizations along the way, and one of the neat things I found is that many of those organizations have a social membership where you can pay a very small fee and you get the opportunity to receive their emails, to get invited to events. And it's a good place to reconnect with people who share the same expertise. Obviously, many of them are still working and still in the industry, but what a fun way to keep up on trends if that's something that would interest you. There are travel groups, there are sports groups for us older Americans. And the other thing I wanted to mention is that, many cities, and I know a lot of you live in more rural areas, and you may want to think about starting a group yourself, but many towns, many cities have really put an emphasis on quality of life. And through their library programs, through their parks and rec department, YMCAs, senior centers, there are tremendous opportunities that many people don't know about because we've been too busy to look. So jump on your town's website, stop into the Chamber of Commerce. I know you're thinking, well, I'm out of the job market now, but chambers are very connected with what's happening in a community. And you might get some direction on a group or a social organization. You may even want to join a chamber as a social member so that you can stay connected to your local business community. I guess the point is that if you'll make a list and start planning for it, just like you plan everything else in your retirement package, where you want to live, what your finances are going to be. But if we put that kind of energy into what we want our social calendar to look like, I think we'll have a lot happier retirement. It's very easy on that last day of work to pack our stuff up and come home and spend the obligatory week or two cleaning the house and getting all the little things done that we put off for the last 10 years. But once that's over, what next? If you plan now and you have a list and you have an idea in your mind what you want to do with your retirement free time, I think you'll be much more apt to get yourself out of the house. And really, isn't that the most important thing? Having connections, having a place to go. For some of us, we're happy with once a month. Some people are happy with once a week. Whatever it is, make sure that you're setting yourself up for success. Well, thanks for coming by the channel. I hope you'll subscribe and please drop a comment. There's always such interesting conversation. I'd love to know about your retirement, either what you're planning to fill your social calendar or what you're doing right now. There's always going to be time to catch a good movie or read a good book, but how do we make connections? And one more thing I'll mention, don't be afraid to have that conversation with your friends and acquaintances right now. Talk to them about what their plans are. Have they started thinking about it? Are they planning on staying in the area, or are they already thinking about moving to be closer to kids, closer to grandchildren? It's really nice to know what you're facing before you have to face it, so we don't get blindsided. Well, I hope that helped. Thanks so much for stopping by. Can you see Hannah? There's Hannah. Her sister's on the floor down here. So I think we'll go out and take a walk. I hope you have a great day. I appreciate you stopping by the channel. Take care.